Hello, this is our group work on Vietnam. Vietnam is considered to have done better than expected in human development these last decades, as reported by the United Nations. But it still has many development goals to reach, especially energy-wise. The present assignment focuses on Vietnam's main actor in energies, PetroVietnam. A first section will be allocated to the economic background and business environment of this country. A second one focuses on the company. Then main energy-related issues will be analyzed, and finally, a fourth section will be dedicated to possible solutions to these challenges.
As focus the Forbes, Vietnam posed to be ASEAN's next economic tiger. This ranking of Vietnam in comparison with other Southeast Asian countries depends on different factors. First, about the geographic and demographic situation. Vietnam has a strategic position, in fact located in the middle of the Southeast Asia. This is an advantageous geographic because Vietnam can use as a launchpad and home bases for largest population. Second, Vietnam has a population of 91.7 million people, expected to grow to 100 million in 2020, with an annual growth rate of 1.2. First, over 50% of the population is 20 years or younger. Second, this population is highly skilled. And first, they can work in high-skilled industry at a more competitive cost than other countries in the region. The second factor is economical and political situation. Vietnam is a socialist republic. It is the one-party state officially espousing communism. The progress in economic development following the declaration by the Sixth Party Congress in called a renovation. This declaration has different goals, but the first was open economy and improvement Vietnam business environment. In 2015, Vietnam has an estimated GDP growth rate of 6.7%. Vietnam can provide abundant energy resources, in particular oil. Geologists estimate at around 1.7 billion tons of reserve crude oil and 6 billion tons of crude.
I'd like to talk a little about the company we choose, PetroVietnam. In this general presentation, I will start with the history of the company, and then I'll talk about PVN's concerns about scientific research and technology, as well as their involvement in social responsibility. So, PetroVietnam exists since 1977 and an issue of the Government Council to create it. As the name of the company indicates, the activities of this state-owned company cover all of the operations from oil and gas exploration and production to storage, processing, transportation, distribution and services. It has become the country's largest oil producer and second largest power producer. Vietnam National Oil and Gas Group includes the holding company and its subsidiaries, affiliates and institutions.
In this second part, we are going to speak about PetroVietnam and its local environment. So, as we know, PetroVietnam is one of the most established companies in Vietnam, really reputed for its oil and gas industry, which is really vital for the Vietnamese economy. In 2015, Vietnam was confronted to the petroleum crisis in the world, and the sudden drop in oil price affected negatively in Vietnam state's budget. But the falling world price slashed the Vietnamese budget by around 3 billion. But this crisis affected the state government country in two ways. First, there were a big slash in the economy of the country, but there were also a positive impact because the country succeeded controlling the increase of the inflation. I mean, the price of the oil continue dropping and people consume more and more. And then, even if the Vietnamese budget was slashed down, Vietnam's government and PetroVietnam control the inflation and boost the local consumption. Finally, Vietnam government succeeded getting out while the going is good during the petroleum crisis of 2015. Important part of the country export. And PetroVietnam marks the economy of Vietnam in 2008 because he established a record for the Vietnamese economy with a revenue of $15 billion. PVN contributed to 149% a year, which was a plan established by the government. The action of PVN is not only located to local petroleum exploitation. The group has strong values which brings to the economy. These values are strengths of development with subsidiary, limitation of bureaucracy, and developing a sustainable way of development. Moreover, PVN is an important leader in the development of the Vietnamese welfare program. The company supports activities and social charities which are beneficial for the Vietnamese community. For example, they support actions such as poverty reduction program, life care of over 100 Vietnamese heroic mothers, allowance for war martyrs, Grand House of Gratitude, support of the army, etc. So in 2015, total saving and support for this welfare program operated by PetroVietnam was more than $30 million. In Vietnam, PetroVietnam is really an important leader deserving the heroic title, and for sure they are really important for the Vietnamese economy because they have a really good control on the population and on this welfare program, which I think is vital for the economy of Vietnam.
About scientific research and technology, we could say that it is a pillar of PVN. Indeed, the company is staffed with highly skilled employees and invests a lot in machinery and software capable of managing and implementing important science technology projects to all fields of oil and gas industry. PetroVietnam believes that science and technology should be the foundation and motivation of the industrialization. According to them, they are essential to the efficiency of management, operation, and production activities of the company. Finally, PetroVietnam is very oriented towards social responsibility. The managers realized that they must set an example because they are one of Vietnam's biggest companies and the backbone of the national economy. So, to ensure unity, sharing, and support of the community, the company invests a lot on social projects, charitable funds, or associations. They also employ disabled people, veterans, and so on. On this aspect of the company, we could also talk about the billions they invested on clean energy and fresh water conversion from salt water for the island's people and officers. So, that's it for the general presentation of PetroVietnam. Now, let's introduce and analyze the issues at stake in relation with this company.
On the issues at stake, the motto of PetroVietnam being Energy for National Sustainable Development, it seems only fair to wonder in what extent it's actually committed to this matter. With great estimated volumes of oil and gas reserves, Vietnam is rather gifted in energy resources. So does the so-called resources curse apply? From researchers led by Geographic in 5 Southeast Asian countries, it seems that it's neither a curse nor a blessing. Vietnam's social and economic performance suggests it has managed to turn this gift into an opportunity. Some argue that its success has been achieved at the expense of its environment. There is a real issue of air and water pollution in Vietnam, just to mention energy-related pollution. The Asian Development Bank reported lack of a strong institutional and regulatory framework to support renewable energies, just to mention one. Another main issue in maritime conflicts over the South China Sea. Tensions between China and Vietnam lies ever since China started claiming islands and water covering basically the entire South China Sea. Well, at least 5 other countries have aims on this area, with great interest in its estimated resources, fuel, gas, but also it's a main road for fish and carriage. As up to this day, it remains a vivid conflict.
Main production targets of the quarter 2016 have been reached for PetroVietnam. That's why innovation remains important to this company, but some problems are faced today. As the cost, the low prices of oil will generate a high cost of production, so less productivity and competitiveness. training for employees to get adapt to new skills of advanced technologies, and also the real main problem is taking into account the state and its stocks. Even if the group fulfilled its first quarter 16 targets, PetroVietnam has still financial issues as public debts. That's why the PVC General Director has proposed to support PetroVietnam projects, as the debt can possibly be recovered by presenting its positive coming results for the 3 years coming. PetroVietnam is trying to find solutions as attracting new foreign investors and give less power to government. For instance, to face its issues, PetroVietnam is cooperating with Malaysia. Indeed, the government has facilitated Petronas investment in Vietnam. This initiative is a kind of answer to PetroVietnam public debt. Innovation remains a solution also because PetroVietnam had to get adapted to advanced technologies, but the real problem is that innovation is expensive. And that means that it has to develop new technology to produce at a low price, because today low oil prices are affecting the production and business activities, especially the area of production and service of oil and gas.
Now let's move on the solution to these challenges. First topic is resources scarce and energy-related pollution. To me, the solution would be more invest by the government in infrastructure, to reinject the money in the country economy, to reduce waste, and to use more renewable energy, and to diversify activities to get added value from another sector. Second topic is the territorial dispute in meridional China Sea. Here it's very hard to find appropriate solution, but perhaps something like the in 2002 with the declaration of the conduct in the South China Sea, so that different countries can do appropriate action. And its last topic is in innovation and labor market. To me, the country has to create dedicated school in order to get skills worker, and so that they could innovate and make something new and think different. And perhaps the last one will be make some joint venture and partnership with other sector of the market. And that will be all. I think you enjoyed, and thank you very much.